Hey, welcome to the show, live from Dennis's house. That is the official title of the show, by the way. See? It's on the cups, so it must be true. The subtitles of the show is Vintage Vinyl, Easy Like Sunday Morning, because that's what we do. So anyway, we got a great show for you today. We have, as you can hear in the background, hold up the record, Rich, we have Rush, Moving Pictures. Look at that. Don't let it shiny. Smells like seawater.
Yes, it does.
This actually, as we discussed, this is Rich Pacesa, as you've met before. He is my good friend and sidekick, and he's going to be my go-to guy because my original guest couldn't make it. We were supposed to have Shard, the most interesting man in the world, on today, but he got
the guy
pulled
from the
away.
beer commercial?
Yes, pretty much. So, we couldn't have him on today, so Rich was kind enough to come on. And Rich is going to be my semi-permanent co-host. Whenever Rich wants to come on. Rich is going to be in charge of progressive rock, by the way.
I feel honored.
Yes.
I'm semi-permanent.
Because you're not going to come on every week, but
That's okay.
Whenever you want.
That's okay.
Whenever there's a need. So, we're doing Rush Moving Pictures today. Rich's favorite band is Rush. Am I
You are 100% correct, yes.
Yeah, all right,
yes.
There we go.
That's my favorite.
And Rich's house was destroyed in Hurricane Sandy, but he managed to save a couple albums. He brought them over today. And there's a whole pile back there. But, we're going to be doing Rush Moving Pictures today. This was released in 1981.
Yes.
I was 17 years old in 1981.
I was 16.
Wow.
So you're older than me.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember that year well. I graduated high school early that year, and I got my first real job.
What was your first real job?
Let's go back to how smart I am first, though. The fact that I graduated early, that I actually skipped a grade, and I graduated. I would have graduated even earlier in June that year, but I took a semester off, so I ended up not graduating until January.
Kind of like college.
Yes, although in high school it's frowned upon, but I still graduated early anyway. And then I got a job at Key Food Supermarket where I was working as a carry-out boy, which actually was an awesome job in a supermarket because all you got to do is wrangle the carts, the shopping carts, and carry people's stuff. It was a rich neighborhood in New York on Long Island called Woodmere. And all these fancy people there, fancy ladies with Mercedes, and I would carry the packages. They would give me tips. So I got regular pay just like everybody else that works there. Plus, I would get $100 a day in tips and stuff. So it was awesome.
That's a lot of money back
then.
Yeah,
Back in 1981, you know how many Rush albums I could buy with that?
Yeah. You could buy all of them at that time.
Yeah. So I'm going in with an open mind today. Because like I told Rich, Rush was not my favorite band. I was not really a fan, but I have a lot of hang-ups, but I thought I got rid of all of them over the years. Because, for instance, Prince. Back in the 80s, I did not like Prince at all because, it wasn't cool enough for me, I think. So, but then over the years, I went back and I love Prince now. Great musician, great everything.
Yeah.
Respect him, same thing. Another example, say something like Barry White, for example. Back in the day, I would never admit to listening to Barry White, but now, let go of my hang-ups. I like music for what it is. It's good music for what it is. Now, Rush, I gotta say, the thing I have a little issue with Rush is that Geddy Lee's voice is a little too high for me, I think. But other than that, they are, obviously they are world-class musicians, possibly the best at their position, if you will. Neil Peart,
I'm going to be biased, of course.
Would you say Neil Peart's the greatest drummer of all time?
He's the greatest rock drummer of all time. The greatest drummer of all time, and you could ask Neil this if you had the opportunity, and he would tell you it would be Buddy Rich.
Really?
Of course, and any drummer who loves drummers would tell you Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
At least the majority, let's just say.
And what about Geddy Lee as far as rock bassist?
It's phenomenal.
Is he? Because we got Flea and we got John Entwistle.
Yeah, I'm not a bassist. I'm going to be biased towards Geddy because I love Rush, but Entwistle, of course, is probably he was what formed Geddy into what he'd become.
Yeah, and the guitar player is definitely good too, and you know, it's a very good progressive band. And that song right there, this was the pinnacle of their career. They are another Canadian band. I've been doing a lot of Canadian bands on this show. I wonder why that is. I don't know.
It's not bad.
Yeah, so they were a Canadian band, and they had I don't know, the first album I think came out in 1974. But this was the pinnacle of their career, 1981.
That's when they
with
finally
pictures.
hit mainstream,
right?
more or less.
Tom Sawyer was everywhere. You know, that this was the most famous, I think this is the most famous air drumming song of all time. Whenever this comes on, you hear this, see everybody. I remember it was like a famous scene. I don't know if you remember that show, Freaks and Geeks. But one of the kids on there was a drummer, and he had this 2,000-piece drum set in his basement, and he would be playing this. He was a terrible drummer, but he'd be trying to play this, and his parents yelling down at him, and he's going crazy, twirling the sticks and all that kind of stuff.
I could just tell you that in my opinion, of course, which is going to be a biased opinion, and you would appreciate this, they are, to me, like the ultimate dream band, if you will. From a musician's perspective, because never once did they have to bow down to the record company and make something that was commercial. They did what they wanted, and they did it on their own terms, and they're still doing what they love to do. So that's probably, I think, the coolest part about them is they just do what they do, and they love doing it.
They don't sell out. They don't worry about image. See, that's another thing. You know, like that's you know, I kind of like rock stars to look like rock stars. I don't like them wearing kimonos and looking goofy. But you know, that was the best thing ever when they were just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this
the
past
camel
year.
toe comment.
And yes, the Foo Fighters did this great introduction.
That was awesome.
And yeah, they were funny. And then they came out and played a song of theirs, and they had the kimonos on. Yeah. You know, from like one of their albums. I forget which one it was, but Rush had kimonos on.
2112.
Yeah. You know what I just realized, Rich, and is a tragedy, that I am not wearing my red velvet right now. I'm wearing my kickboxing sweatshirt.
Well, it's sporting because it is Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes,
that's why I wore the jersey. Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm going to forego the velvet today. I'm not going to edit this out and go get my velvet. We're going to go with what we got right now. So yeah, so we might as well. One thing I wanted to mention too about working at the supermarket. Do you know what else monumental event took place there? That's where I met my lovely bride.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like the Son of Sam shop there or something.
That too. I once carried his bags.
The postal bag?
A lot of dog food he had. So anyway, yes, today is Super Bowl Sunday, if you will. And so I was thinking about that. We live down here, Jersey Shore. Giants Stadium is like 40-minute ride from here or something. And if someone gave you free tickets to the game, would you go?
Tomorrow?
Sunday. Today, yes, for the Super Bowl. Would you go? In the freezing cold and sit there out in the
somebody
elements.
gave me
Someone
the
gave you tickets and said, "Here, you're going."
Sure.
You would go? I would have to say I wouldn't, unless it was like a VIP box where I could sit inside. Because
I would go sell the tickets in the parking lot and then come back home.
I'm buying new TV.
I take the limo home.
Yeah, because I gotta say, when it comes to watching the Super Bowl, I like sitting in my living room. You know, nice comfortable couch, nice relaxing. Yeah. You know, it's gonna be freezing cold, 20 degrees out there.
I thought it was supposed to be warm.
Yeah, it's not really warm, but 20 degrees. I don't know.
I guess at game time it's whatever.
Yeah. So anyway. Let's have a little coffee now. Show you a cup. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit before we get back to some more Rush. Well, we can put some on while we're waiting. Play it in the background. I'd like to hear Limelight. That's another song on this album.
That's the last song on this side.
So we'll go through all this other stuff. And like I said, I'm going with an open mind, so I'm going to judge this on its merits. So let that play. But this past week, Pete Seeger passed away.
Yep.
You know who Pete Seeger was?
Yes.
Yes, he was a famous, how you say, folk singer, and icon, and environmentalist, and anti-war protester, and everything. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember as a kid, like in elementary school, they always made you sing his songs. You know, it's like If I Had a Hammer, and like other songs like that, all these folk songs that are singing stupid shows and things like that. Well, anyway, he was 95 and he passed away, and you know, I was thinking about that he was a war protester all his life, And comes a time when you have to give up on kind of things, because war's been going on since the beginning of time, and he's been protesting it for 50 years, and it didn't change anything. War just keeps going on. I think it's part of human nature. You can't stop war. People love to hate each other. You notice that? That if everybody's exactly the same, they'll find something to hate about each other. It'll be whether the team shirt you got on or anything, you know? So, I don't know. We're never going to change human nature, but it's good to keep trying. But Pete Seeger was in a folk band back in like the 40s called the Weavers, and they got blacklisted during the McCarthy era. And I was thinking about that. Imagine
Charlie
that.
McCarthy?
Yeah. Can you imagine the government coming after you and saying the greatest nation in the world, most powerful nation, using all its powers and saying, we hate you, Rich Pacesa, or Chessa, however you want to say it, and we hate you and we don't ever want you to work in this country again, you know? That's got to be overwhelming. My God, you know? So,
and back in those days, there was no groups or organizations that would have it
exactly,
back.
Yeah, you know, and if anyone spoke out for you, then, you know.
Yeah, they were blacklisted too.
Yeah, exactly. So, let me see, what else did I want to talk about him? During this blacklisting time, that's not what I talked about. Oh, that about the government again. That you don't want the government after you. It's like the worse than the actual full government is just the IRS coming after you.
Of course.
Like OJ, for example, he killed 2 people. Nobody cared. They said, all right, go about your business. But then he wasn't the IRS, but he stole football memorabilia, and he's spending the rest of his life in jail. Al Capone killed thousands of people, probably, right? Couldn't convict him of anything until the IRS got him, and then he spent the rest of his life in jail for tax evasion.
Yep.
And then he died of syphilis, in jail.
I didn't know that.
How do you get syphilis in jail? You don't want to know.
No, I don't think I do.
All right. I got some Rush trivia now for you.
For me?
Yes.
I thought you were the wealth of knowledge.
Well, the thing about Rush is I actually know all the band members' names, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
That must say something about them. If I'm not a huge fan and I still know all the band members' names, that says something about them. So I'll name them, as we already did.
Okay.
Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart.
Okay.
There you go. So now I have a challenge to you. I saw this on another show. Did you ever see that heavy metal show with those 3 guys?
That metal show?
That metal show. That's it. Yes. So they do a stump the Trump thing.
That guy's a whiz.
Yeah. So this question was actually about. They asked him about another band, but I'm going to ask it to you about Rush. Can you name all the Rush studio albums in order?
I could name not all of them, probably most of them.
All right. Let's see what you got.
There was
Starting the first one in 1974.
That was Rush. Then there was Fly By Night. Then there was Caress of Steel. Then there was 2112. Then after 2112 was, I think, Farewell to Kings.
Yes.
Then Hemispheres. Then Permanent Waves. Then Moving Pictures. Then Signals. Then Grace Under Pressure. And then I'm starting to get a little foggy, but I want to say after Grace Under Pressure was Power Windows.
Yes. Oh my God.
And then Power Windows was a great tour. I saw them 5 times on that tour, by the way. Then after that, I want to say Test for Echo.
No, that was much later.
Okay, then maybe it was Presto.
That's still the next one after that. But I think that was very good right there. Up to Power Windows, you got them all perfectly. That's a bunch of 10. So then after that was Hold Your Fire, Presto, Roll the Bones, Counterparts, Test for Echo, Vapor Trails, Feedback, Snakes and Arrows, and Clockwork Angels. That was just released in 2012.
Angels, I saw that. I saw them in Hershey, Pennsylvania in June of 2013 for the Clockwork Angels tour. They actually had I want to say it was a 9-piece string band that toured with them.
Wow, that's something.
And it was phenomenal. After the show, I was saying to myself, how is it possible that you get better at your instrument? And they're that much better, I think, instrumentally.
So how many times have you seen them over the years?
That was my 37th Rush show.
Wow. You have all the ticket stubs with you, too?
No, I have maybe 2.
And how many of those 37 do you actually remember?
I remember all of them. You would just have to do something to joggle my memory.
So I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I have a cold today. Can you tell that?
No.
Well, I do. I have a cold. I've had it for a couple of days. I'm actually getting better now, so you don't have to worry about being sick. But that wants me to discuss how I got this cold. That filthy animals from work came in because they said, "Oh, I have a cold, so I'm going to be awesome and I'm going to come to work." So they come in and they spread their germs all over you, and I end up sick. So that's where we're at now.
All right.
And are you aware that I used to be germophobic? You did not know.
I did not know that.
You did not know me at this time.
I didn't know that.
Let's play some more Rush while we're waiting here.
Okay.
We'll move it down a bit, try to get the limelight. What song is that?
YYZ. And YYZ is the airport code for the Toronto airport.
Oh, really?
And the music score, which was written by Getty and Neil, it's written after the Morse code.
Wow.
The song goes from 4/4 to 5/4, I believe, and so it's. You read the story on it; it's pretty cool. Wouldn't be doing it justice by explaining it off the top of my head.
Oh, but listen to that! Did you hear that bass playing?
Yes.
That was good. I could see the Cossacks raiding Russia right as we speak right now through the desert. There's no desert in Russia, I don't think, is there?
Yeah, I guess somewhere
through the
in Russia
tundra.
it's huge,
How about tundra? It's always cold there.
Just the cold desert.
So yeah, let me discuss my germ phobia here. That
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't mind discussing my idiosyncrasies because it's kind of self-effacing man that I am. You know, that's what you love about me, Rich. My self-effacing humor, I think. So anyway, back in the day, I used to be extremely germ phobic, and it was very bad because it was like, I don't know, if you watch a TV show, a medical show, or anything, it would be like Marcus Welby was on. You remember that show?
Yeah, sure. I was an Emergency fan. I watched Emergency.
Any show with sick people on it, like that was way back. I'm talking about this was probably in the 90s when I was germ phobic, or the 2000s or something like that. And anyway, whatever show was on or something, they had a disease, I would have that disease the next day. And I would really work myself up. And if I was ever around anyone who was sick, I would be freaking out. And it's like, when my niece and nephew were little, every holiday we would go over to my in-laws' house, and my niece and nephew would be there, and they were little kids, and they were always sick, of course. And of course they'd want to come near me, and I'm freaking out, like, get away from me, kid. And they'd be coming up, coughing on my turkey on Thanksgiving, and slobbering on my ham at Easter. And invariably, after every holiday, I would be sick. And people at work would know, all right, it's a holiday, I guess you're not coming to work next week, Dennis. You're obviously going to be sick. And I would worry about it so much, and I would obsess, and I could actually even had the power to make myself sick. That if I had to go somewhere and travel, because I hated driving and traffic and all these things, so I would work myself up to give myself a stomach virus at certain times, where I'd be throwing up and stuff, and my wife can attest to this. That
So how did you fix yourself?
Well, here we go. Over the years, I don't know how long it went. It went for a couple of years, I guess, And finally I said, that's it. Nonsense. I can make myself sick with my mind. I'm going to cure myself with my mind. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm just going to stop it. So I made a conscious decision, and I said, that's it. I'm not being germphobic anymore. And I started like eating out of dumpsters. I started kissing homeless people on the street, and I worked my mind out of it and my immune system, and that's it. It's like, now I'm sick, but big deal. Being sick, worrying about being sick was a million times worse than actually being sick.
There you go.
So that was the thing, and I worked through it. So the mind is a powerful thing. Now, it's like I said, I knew these people at work were sick, and I said, what are you going to do? I'm going to get sick. I don't care. And I went about my business. Now I got a stupid little cold, couple of days. What are you going to do? Back to life. So now here's Limelight. This is another song. Everybody knows this song by Rush. It's a great song. What are some other songs? I know Spirit of Radio. What else do I know?
Spirit of Radio, Free Will.
Free Will, yes.
A lot. I don't know. I don't know what you would
What's
know.
that song that you always talk about? It's like a 25-minute instrumental.
La Villa Strangiato. That it's cool. There's two specials on Rush: Behind the Lighted Stage, and then there's one that does a review of 2112 and Moving Pictures. And there's some pretty reputable musicians in there, especially Behind the Lighted Stage. And Kirk Hammett from Metallica was talking about La Villa Strangiato. He was talking about the guitar work in it, and he said how influential that was in him forming his techniques of playing guitar, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I see a lot of people influenced by them.
Yeah.
Like what else? I forget who else I read that was influenced, but obviously, a lot of people. Foo Fighters, obviously,
Sure.
So.
Sure. And the other cool thing on the first video documentary, they and the guys from Rush will talk about it. They got their break and they were touring with Kiss.
Wow.
And Gene Simmons thought they were really cool. They're like, this is like Canadian Led Zeppelin. And if you ask the guys from Rush, they'll probably say, wow, that's a pretty big honor to be compared to Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
so,
right.
That's cool, though.
Can't sneeze your nose at that.
No doubt.
So, putting a little notes down here, things I wanted to discuss, a little outline here. So, I like this. I like this song a lot, I gotta say. See how open my mind is, Rich?
Yeah.
That's
You're,
it.
You're very open-minded today.
Always,
You're sick, but you're open-minded. Maybe that's what did it.
No, that's it. It's a new dentist. It's slowly letting go all of my hang-ups. See, I cured my germ phobia. I got rid of my Prince hang-up. Now I judge music on the value of the music.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna have to give this the thumbs up, Rich.
Okay.
So yeah, I would. I don't know that I would listen to those other songs that much, but I definitely like Limelight, and I definitely like Tom Sawyer. But those songs were so popular at the time. They kind of get the Freebird syndrome that you heard them too much. But I can imagine listening to this for the first time. If somebody gave this to me and I had no biases, and I said, "Wow,
I have a funny Freebird story."
Who doesn't?
I have a friend of mine who went to the Starland Ballroom to see the Wallflowers.
Right.
And he said they were in the middle of playing a song, and of course, he's having a good time, had some drinks in him, and he yells out, "Freebird!" And he said, and they stopped in the middle of the song and said, "Who said that?" He tells the story a lot better, but he said it was pretty embarrassing.
I thought you were going to say they went into it and started playing the song.
No, they were a little ticked off at him.
I saw some band that was playing too, and they had a tip jar in front, and it was for requests. A request for $1, and then it said if you want "Stairway to Heaven," it's $20. If you want this song, it was $50, and if you wanted "Freebird," it cost $1,000. So there we go. That's the side one. Is there anything interesting on that album there you got on the album cover?
Oh well, yeah. I'll tell you what.
Pull it out.
There is interesting. It's moving pictures, of course, as we know. And so on the cover, there are movers actually moving pictures. But there's people there that are looking at the pictures who are moved by the pictures.
Wow, this is really deep.
And then if you look on the flip side, they are recording them moving the pictures as the people are moved by the pictures. So that's my little tidbit of interesting information from moving pictures.
I don't think most people can even grasp all this right now.
It's kind of funny. It's something I read. I didn't notice.
No, I thought yeah.
I didn't graduate high school early like you. You probably would have noticed.
Oh yeah, I could tell as soon as just by looking at it. It also symbolizes man's inhumanity to man. I can see that right here between these two guys.
Yeah, this is true.
Speaking of that, another thing I wanted to discuss is I was watching some show last night. And it was about jail. It's a real reality show. It's a real show. I don't even remember the name. I think it's just called Jail or something like that. But it's not that show. There's a show called Jail, but there's another show, Behind the Walls or some shit. I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not supposed to curse, Rich. It's a
I didn't say
show.
anything. It was
Beep that
you.
out. Beep that out right now. Any children listening, go into your mom's wallet and send me $1 right now. Who was famous for that?
The executive producer who could He could edit that.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the executive producer, I might have to promote you to executive producer because I have not seen one guest from the executive producer yet. I have to get all the guests on my own, so I don't know. I might have to promote you. So anyway, let's get back to this jail show. And they show like all the inmates in jail and stuff, and then they were showing this one guy who's got paroled, and he was just out in the park on a nice sunny day. You know, he's living somewhere, God knows where, not some fancy place, I'm sure. But he's saying how he enjoys life now, that just to go outside in the sun and just to play with his niece and nephew, that life is all worth it now. And that's the little things in life. And that is the key to happiness. That if you can be happy with the little things in life, just sitting here, having some coffee, watching TV, watching the Super Bowl, then you'll be happy. Because if you expect life to be all fancy parties and jet setting to Paris and all this kind of stuff, you're going to be wishing and worrying about things, and you're going to not enjoy the life you have. So,
is this a philosophical?
Yes, that's very philosophical. That you just be happy with the little things in life. What you got. Don't worry about what you don't have, because there's always something you don't have, something you're not going to get. And don't even tell me that you just picked up your phone to text.
No, I didn't. I had something I wanted to lead into talking about jail. And so I had a funny news story, but I don't know if we want to jump ahead.
We do. I just wanted to, that's just all I wanted to say. But it's funny because when we used to play, I used to call Rich like a 12-year-old girl because he'd be behind the drums at practice texting all night. So let's go. Let's get into
so
your story.
I have two funny news stories. I'll go with the first one since it led right into the whole jail thing. It was up in Portland, Oregon, and police in Portland say that a man suspected of shooting at his neighbor shot himself in the groin while trying to leave the scene of the crime. Apparently, he stuck the gun in his pants and was running from the cops, and it went off, and he shot himself in the testicles.
Wow!
So
basically
the cop said they don't even know what to charge him with because he shot himself in the testicles.
Yeah, I think that's enough punishment right there. You know, that's instant karma, if you will.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that too. Whenever you see these shows and they're putting that gun in their pants, that's always risky business there. I don't know about that.
I thought that was great.
Better get a holster. So what else? What other stories
another news story from overseas. This was in Germany. Methane gas from 90 flatulent cows exploded in a German farm shed on Monday, damaging the roof and injuring one of the animals, police said. High levels of gas had built up in the structure in the German town of Rasdorf, and that static electrical charges caused the methane gas to explode flashed up into flames. And in a statement, one of the cows was treated for burns.
Well, how did this happen? Was one of the cows smoking?
No, it was the static electricity.
Oh, okay. Where did that come from? One of the cows was...
I guess maybe they were shuffling on the hay and
with their socks on.
Yeah. With their feet pajamas.
Well... We're going out with Rush. I'm giving it a thumbs up. I'm saying everyone should have at least one Rush album in their collection. Definitely. This is a good one. I'm saying if you only got one, I would go with Moving Pictures. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up in the next few weeks. Rich, you as the new executive producer, co-executive producer, you have how is it going with the St. Patrick's Day show? You're supposed to get me a bagpiper, and you're supposed to play the drums.
Actually, the piper who I would like to come, who's a big fan of Dropkick Murphy.
Right, we're going to do the Dropkick Murphys on St. Patrick's show.
He was in Las Vegas, the poor guy. He said on business, but he was in Las Vegas. So
yeah, monkey
I
business.
did not get to see him on Wednesday.
Okay, but
so I will see him this Wednesday, and I'll see if I can pin him down.
All right, so yeah, I would like to have a nice big St. Patrick's show right in this room. Have like 50 people jammed in this room with the bagpipes, you with the drums.
It'll be
loud.
loud.
And we're going to be playing that Kiss Me song by the Dropkick Murphys, and have like it lined with people all singing along in the background, the chorus, waving their mugs of Guinness. Yeah. You know, that. So any Irish friends out there, or people who want to be Irish for the day, want to come on that show, you know, message me and we'll get you on for that. And then what else I have coming up? I have Billie Holiday coming up. My friend Trish is going to come on, sing some Billie Holiday. That's good stuff. We're going to have Tara Elliott, the great, legendary Tara Elliott, come on, and she's going to do Janis Joplin. We're going to have Shard, the most interesting man in the world, come on. And how's it coming with you and Joan? I want you guys to come on and do Otis.
I spoke with Joan, and she'd be happy to come on. And I think in 2 weeks. I think that was our discussion. So,
all right, good.
2
Yeah,
weeks with Otis Redding.
Joan is another great singer.
Although Otis won't be here, it's just Otis's album.
Yeah, I got the Otis album over there, and we're gonna be. I'd like to do Dock of the Bay. We used to always do a great version with Joan singing. Well, so looks like we ran out of time. So that's it for today. Enjoy the Super Bowl. What's your prediction? Who do you think's gonna win?
I'm gonna say Seattle's gonna be the surprise.
Oh, really?
That's
well,
my guess.
I'm
although
going with Denver.
I'm
so.
indifferent. I like
that's it.
I like Denver,
that's a commitment. We made $100 bet.
Okay.
You saw it on TV. do you have a score that you're thinking? I'm going with 21-9. Denver's gonna win.
28-24.
All right. We'll look back about this after the game.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming on. See you guys next week. Woohoo! And don't forget, subscribe to my channel on YouTube here. Later.